Today, we'll delve into the world of fair trade certification, a movement promoting ethical and sustainable practices in global trade. By understanding its core principles, procedures, and benefits, we can make informed decisions about sourcing and contribute to a more equitable and responsible global supply chain. What is fair trade certification? Fair trade certification is more than just a label. It's a philosophy. It stands in contrast to the traditional model of international trade, where producers often face unfair pricing, exploitation, and limited opportunities for advancement. By choosing fair trade certified products, we empower producers, particularly small-scale farmers and artisans, to earn a living wage, invest in their communities, and operate in an environmentally responsible manner. Core principles of fair trade. The core principles of fair trade certification form the foundation for a more just and equitable global trade system. Let's delve deeper into each principle. Fair labor practices. This ensures decent working conditions for producers. Living wages. Producers receive a fair price for their goods, allowing them to earn a living wage that covers their basic needs and provides them with the opportunity to improve their livelihoods. Safe working conditions. Producers work in safe environments, free from hazards, and have access to proper safety equipment. Elimination of child labor and forced labor. Fair trade certification strictly prohibits the exploitation of children and promotes decent work for all. Respect for workers' rights. Producers have the right to freedom of association, meaning they can join unions or worker organizations to collectively bargain for better working conditions and wages. Transparency and accountability. This ensures a fair and ethical trading system. Traceable supply chains. Consumers can be confident that the fair trade products they purchase originate from ethical sources. Every step in the production process is documented, ensuring fair treatment of workers throughout the supply chain. Independent monitoring and verification. Regular audits conducted by independent certifiers ensure that producers and traders comply with fair trade standards. This independent verification adds credibility and transparency to the fair trade system. Open communication and collaboration. Effective communication and collaboration between producers, traders, and consumers are crucial for building trust and ensuring that everyone involved benefits from fair trade practices. Sustainable development. This promotes responsible environmental practices and community well-being. Responsible use of natural resources. Fair trade encourages producers to adopt practices that conserve natural resources and minimize environmental impact. Investment in community development initiatives. The Fair Trade Premium provides producers with additional funds to invest in their communities. These investments can support initiatives like education, healthcare, and infrastructure development. Emphasis on long-term sustainability. Fair trade certification promotes practices that ensure the long-term viability of producer organizations and the environment. This includes responsible land management and resource use for future generations. By adhering to these core principles, fair trade certification aims to create a more equitable and sustainable future for producers, workers, consumers, and the planet. Who issues fair trade certification? The fair trade ecosystem involves several key players. Fair Trade International, or FLO, serves as the central governing body, establishing the fair trade standards, overseeing the certification process, and granting licenses to use the fair trade mark. National fair trade organizations work hand in hand with FLO, promoting fair trade principles and conducting certification activities within their respective countries. Additionally, independent certifiers play a crucial role by conducting on-site audits to ensure that producers and traders comply with the established fair trade standards. The Fair Trade Certification Process. The Fair Trade Certification process is designed to ensure rigorous and transparent adherence to the established standards. Here's a step-by-step walkthrough of the journey. Initiating the application, the process begins with the producer or trader submitting a formal application to a fair trade certifier or their national fair trade organization. This application usually involves completing a form and gathering the necessary supporting documentation, as outlined in the next slide. Pre-screening by FLO. Once submitted, the application and supporting documents undergo a preliminary review by Fairtrade International, FLO. This initial assessment serves as a screening mechanism to ensure the applicant meets the baseline criteria and possesses the necessary foundation for compliance with fair trade standards. Independent audit. If the application passes the pre-screening stage, an independent certifier, accredited by FLO, conducts a comprehensive on-site audit. This crucial step involves visiting the producers' or traders' facilities and meticulously examining various aspects of their operations against the fair trade standards. The auditor assesses labor practices, environmental sustainability measures, traceability throughout the supply chain, and overall commitment to ethical sourcing principles. Review and decision. Following the audit, the certifier submits a detailed report to FLO outlining their observations and findings. FLO then thoroughly reviews the report to make the final determination regarding certification. Based on the evidence presented and the auditor's recommendations, FLO grants the certification if all requirements are met, or issues a denial with specific areas requiring improvement for future consideration. Required documentation for fair trade certification. As a compliance professional, ensuring your organization has the necessary documentation readily available is crucial for a smooth and efficient fair trade certification process. Here's a breakdown of the key documents you'll need. For producers: organization registration documents, articles of incorporation, bylaws, or any relevant legal documents establishing your organization. Financial statements, audited financial statements for the past 2 years or tax returns, if applicable. Production and processing records, documentation outlining your production and processing methods, including materials used, labor practices, and environmental controls. Labor contracts and policies, copies of your employment contracts, wage scales, and any relevant labor policies. Traceability documents, documentation that clearly tracks the origin of your products from source to finished good, ensuring transparency throughout the supply chain. Community development plans, optional, if applicable, details of your plans for investing the fair trade premium back into your community. Requirements for traders. Business registration documents, proof of your legal business registration, and any relevant licenses. Sourcing and trading agreements, copies of agreements with producers and any intermediaries involved in the supply chain. Fair trade premium investment plans, plans outlining how you intend to use the fair trade premium received from producers. Marketing and sales materials, marketing materials showcasing the fair trade certification and how you communicate your commitment to ethical sourcing to consumers. However, the specific documentation requirements may vary depending on the type of product being certified, the size and complexity of your organization, and the specific requirements of the National Fair Trade Organization or independent certifier. It's recommended to consult directly with a fair trade certifier or the relevant National Fair Trade Organization for the most up-to-date and specific list of required documents. Maintaining accurate and well-organized documentation is essential for demonstrating compliance with fair trade standards and facilitating a smooth audit process. By ensuring you have the necessary documentation in place, you can demonstrate your organization's commitment to fair trade principles and navigate the certification process efficiently. Maintaining fair trade certification. Ongoing commitment. Maintaining fair trade certification is not a one-time achievement. It requires continuous commitment to upholding the fair trade standards. Regular audits, certified producers and traders, undergo regular audits, typically annually, to ensure they continue to meet fair trade requirements. These audits assess labor practices, environmental sustainability measures, and traceability within the supply chain. Corrective action plans. If any non-conformities are identified during an audit, the producer or trader must develop and implement corrective action plans to address the issues and achieve compliance within a specified timeframe. Capacity building support. Fair trade organizations often provide capacity building support to certified producers and traders. This support can include training on best practices in labor management, environmental protection, and financial management. Maintaining fair trade certification requires ongoing dedication from producers, traders, and certifiers. Regular audits ensure continued adherence to fair trade standards, and capacity building programs empower certified organizations to operate sustainably and ethically in the long term. The impact of fair trade certification. Empowering producers. Fair trade certification provides producers with a safety net through fair pricing and the fair trade premium, enabling them to invest in their communities and businesses for a brighter future. Ethical sourcing. Consumers gain access to products sourced through a transparent and ethical supply chain, ensuring fair treatment of workers and responsible environmental practices. Building a more just future. By supporting fair trade certification, we contribute to building a more equitable and sustainable global trade system that benefits all stakeholders. Fair trade certification is a powerful tool for positive change. It empowers producers, fosters ethical sourcing practices, and paves the way for a more just and sustainable global trade environment. By understanding the principles and processes behind fair trade certification, we can make informed choices that contribute to a brighter future for producers, consumers, and the planet. Look for the Fair Trade mark. Seek out products bearing the Fair Trade mark when shopping. Your purchasing decisions can make a real difference. Learn more. Visit the Fair Trade International website or your national fair trade organization to learn more about fair trade and its impact. Get involved. Explore ways to get involved in the fair trade movement. Support fair trade businesses, advocate for fair trade policies, and spread awareness about the importance of ethical sourcing. Thank you for joining me today. Let's work together to promote fair trade certification and build a more equitable and sustainable future for all.